everybody. Welcome back to the Iesf Asia and Oceania Qualifiers Mlbb 2025. Today we'll start a new day. It's still with me, Realize, and Kimberly or Kim. We will be rolling over to the qualifiers of the MLBB women's team, in which today we'll have a couple of games. I'll be casting the first two, and then Kim will continue on with a different partner later on. But how
Oh,
are you
yeah.
feeling, Kim?
Yeah, I'm good. It's actually I feel like ISF did this on purpose. It's always PH and an Indonesian caster in the first day. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, Peak MLBB is in the region, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say the other region later. Another caster will be coming in to join me later on. But
Yep.
I actually started my career with MLBB,
Mm-hmm.
starting it off with the women's scene. I actually did get into mainstream first, so I really know a lot of like backstories about like the players, especially the local ones. I did cast a couple of international ones as well. So it's so nice to be back. I mean, I haven't done anything MLBB women still.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, this might be your forte because one of some of the players here in the roster, some I know, some I don't. A couple of them also are signed to a professional team. For example, like the Malaysian team, they are signed to Navi or Natus Vincere Malaysia. They were able to make an appearance as well in MWI. I think it
yeah,
was a few months ago. I think it was a month ago. So it was still
yeah.
close, and maybe they can also see MWI as an experience, right? But I think for women's MLBB, it's very nice to see it being proliferated again here, especially in ISF, because we know that the women sometimes they don't get much chance as the men does in
Oh,
MLBB.
yeah.
Maybe some of the regions do, like Indonesia. We have our own. Uh, we call it the national team of the earth because these are a very a collect a group of players that are very very good, but for some countries they don't really have that opportunity, so it's nice to see that they will be fighting here today in the ISF World Esports Asia and Oceania qualifiers. As we take a look at the groups, we have Central Asia, we have Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. East Asia, we have Hong Kong and Mongolia. South Asia, we have Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. So yeah, these are I'd say teams that or nations, countries that don't really get the chance
Hmm.
to play. So it's very nice to see them having the opportunity to taste competitive MLBB in the women's scene. Meanwhile, we'll move on to the countries that are exposed to much more experience, like Southeast Asia A, Cambodia, Malaysia, Laos, and Brunei Darussalam. We have Southeast Asia B as well for Philippines, Myanmar, and Vietnam. For West Asia, we have Iran, Oman, and UAE or United
UAE,
Arab Emirates.
Emirates. Wow. I see actually a lot of these countries that are new. We've seen shades of how they play in the men's MLBB.
Hmm.
But let's take a look at the schedule that we have for today. Again, the first day is always packed. We start off with Cambodia versus Malaysia. Then you have Hong Kong, China versus Mongolia. You got Philippines and Myanmar again. That will go head to head for today, and Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan to actually cap off the day of our women's MLBB. So hope you guys don't miss out. If you want to support a particular team, just make sure to stay on the live stream. There's a whole lot of MLBB action. I'm actually curious about what the meta is like for the ladies. I mean, are they gonna do the same meta as the men's MLBB? Because I know I've seen a couple of MWIs where some of the ladies just actually have their own spin off the meta, and they actually make it work. So
Hmm.
that's what I'm looking forward to see. I've seen in the very first like MWI, which I've had the privilege or honor of casting, I've seen a Yin jungle, and that was actually respect band. So there are things like that. So I don't know. Are you looking forward to any of the heroes here today? Realize
Hmm.
any pocket picks that we might see for the ladies that you're maybe anticipating for today.
Yeah, hopefully we do see that approach, right? It's all about comfort picks at the end of the day. If you really want to win out a game, I think for meta wise, I would assume that the teams here also work hard and follow the meta that is currently going. But do you remember that first day we casted ISF, and I think it was a match where we saw a Hanabi pop up, and then there was a Mia.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully we get to see
we
that
got
as well.
clipped.
Oh, we
We
got
we
clipped.
totally got clipped. Yeah, we got clipped. Like there are clippers in the Philippines. Shout out by the way to all of the clippers out there. I know you guys are watching. It was such a feast. Yeah, even me and Nice too talked about it when I
Hmm.
was back for the men's MLBB. We talked about
Yeah.
the Hanabi, the Via, the Tigreal. So it was just I guess so I mean in ISF, I think that's the main thing or the main point that a lot of the Clippers wanted to say. It actually happened on ISF. So I don't know if there were more Mias or more Hanabis that popped in rank games. Hopefully you guys had win streaks, but it happened here in ISF. But hopefully let's see these ladies pull it off. It's gonna be such a powerful first match already. Malaysia, one of the rising regions next to, of course, the Philippines and Indonesia when it comes to MLBB. And like what you said, realize
Hmm.
Navi MLBB just signed in uh, the ladies team as well. Also for the Philippines, I know the previous Smart Omega Empress actually signed up with the Navi MLBB as
Yeah.
well. So we have that.
Yep, I think if we're going to talk about teams playing today, especially for Malaysia and as well as Cambodia, people would argue that hey, Malaysia is more exposed in the women's MLBB, especially Navi were able to partake in the MWI tournament a few months ago, like I said. But if we talk about Cambodia and we take a look at the list of the players here, we have players that have been there since day one. You said it, MWI 2022, Yui, Moshi. These are players that played in the first ever edition of MWI 2022. They were in Impunity Starlets, and yeah, they were
Yeah.
able to grab a taste of what it feels like playing competitively in a very prestigious tournament for women's MLBB. So I think they also don't lack the pressure. They also don't lack the experience, right? So I would argue that the first match today, Malaysia against Cambodia, might be a close one because these are players that are
Yeah.
veterans. These are players that have been there since day one. So yeah, it's gonna be very amazing to see how the curtains will unfold today as we take a look at the first match. It's Cambodia against Malaysia. What do you think about this matchup, Kim?
Yeah, Cambodia and Malaysia. I think we have to talk a little bit about the wild card slot also, right?
Hmm.
It was just released for M7 and Malaysia, finally getting that two slots for the wild card and Cambodia again. One of the next, I would like to say, like, if you think about the Southeast Asian regions, like Cambodia is just one of them next to Myanmar when it comes to, players that are good or rising in MLBB. We got the team roster here for Cambodia. You got UE, Tegami, Yui, and Moshi that will be playing for the roster here today. And like what I said, Cambodia, they're
Hmm.
just good. And I think I also had the privilege of casting the MPL Cambodia a few seasons back. And I'd like to say, like, it's just action after action. I don't know if you've seen clips of the casters of Cambodia that are just rapping in style every time there's
Yeah.
a clash because it's just so good. I can't even. I actually want to learn Cambodian because of that. But speaking of Cambodia, they're gonna be going up against Malaysia here today. You got Syndicats, Rina, Fafau. Oh, Fafau's gonna be playing. Hani and Shada will be playing for Malaysia. Fafau was actually in the roster of the first MWI when they were still, I think it was on air, if I'm not mistaken, on air Esports or
Mhm.
the other Malaysian team. So it's so nice to see that up until this day they are still in the roster and will be representing Malaysia here today for the match number one.
Yeah, it's a national pride. I mean, it's one thing to play for your team. It's another to play for your national team, especially like how we were able to see. I think it was a few weeks ago where Team Liquid ID were taken down by none other than Cambodia as well, right? They were able to cement
Yeah, yeah,
themselves a
yeah.
spot as the first place team in the qualifiers of ISF World Esports Championship. In Asia and Oceania. So I think that also strikes a resurgence then in the Cambodia scene, right? I mean, the men's are able to pull it off against um, an Indonesian team, predominantly a group of players that are playing for TLID or Team Liquid ID. They were able to be toppled down. If you take a look at TLID being such a prestigious org, hey. a group of players coming in from Cambodia were able to beat them. So I think there is no longer, this inferiority that sometimes the smaller regions feel, because for Cambodia themselves,
Yeah.
they have their fair share of passion and love towards MLBB. They have been there since day one. Impunity, CFU, these are organizations that help proliferate the growth of MLBB
Yeah.
in that regard, in that scene, in that region. So I think they are a force to be reckoned with, especially how I think if you take a look at Navi Malaysia, their placements in MWI wasn't the best. They finished 9-12. They lost against Game and Gladiators, who subsequently became the grand finalist in that tournament. So I think this is
Hmm.
going to be a very very good a refreshment for them to come over
Yeah.
and play again, sharpen their fangs,
I
sharpen
love.
their fingers, and play again, right? I mean, CFU were
Mhm.
also in the MWI 2025, so it's a clash of the teams playing again, right?
Yeah, I love how you mentioned the Cambodia win because it was such a big deal here in the Philippines, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what happened? Like I think a lot of people, because it was intersecting with MPL Philippines here, so a lot of people either they watched ISF didn't catch MPL, some watched MPL didn't catch ISF. So a lot of people, there's this very big group here in the Philippines. I feel like there are also some active people from Indonesia, Malaysia that are in the group. It's called MLBB Events
Mm-hmm.
Tournament. So it's everything about MLBB, and you just get this whole community talking about what just happened. And a lot of people were really shocked about um, the results, right? Because Cambodia, again, beating the Philippines, not in a 2-1, okay? Like there wasn't even a game that was given to the Philippines. It was a clean sweep. I actually have to take a look at that matchup. I missed out on it, but it was quite a shock to a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
But also, again, like what you said, all these rising regions, all of these regions that let's say, let's just put it at, they don't have the two slots yet for M7. Maybe who knows, M8, M9. They might actually have two slots because I'm actually eyeing Cambodia there. Cambodia and Myanmar. I think if you ask the Filipinos or the Philippine players or the fans, they actually say it's either Cambodia or Myanmar that actually has the right to get that one slot for the World Championships. But yeah, that's so it's not that far off, right? If you think about it, it's already the bare months right now. So
Yeah.
there's just a lot going on. I'm so happy there's a lot of MLBB action here and there because a lot of people are actually surprised that there are ISF qualifiers that are ongoing alongside MPL.
Yeah, I mean, it's hand to hand, right? At TLID back then, were also forced to play ISF, and then they had to play MPLID the next day. So I think match fitness does kind of play a role in the teams playing today. But I think for CFU, Serendipity, and for Navi Malaysia, both Malaysia and Cambodia teams today playing, they don't really have those tournaments going on right now. So I think they'll have to really rely on scrims. And yeah, like you said, it's going to be very interesting to see what meta that will be brought upon to the table. I mean, we talked about a different, a set of metas that have been brought on. We saw the proliferation and like the prio towards Yi Sun Shin. We saw the Lancelot being contested
Oh yeah.
heavily. The Farsa as well being one of the staple mid laners now in this patch. But there was a hot fix that came through. I think it was a few days ago. So I'm not
Oh
so
yeah.
sure
Yeah.
if that is going to change the approach to the game today. But yeah, we'll just have to see what meta will be that will be brought upon by these players today. Hopefully, we do see something funky. But I think for this scenario, Malaysia against Cambodia, they will still stick
Cambodia.
to
Yeah.
the traditional meta because they are
For
exposed to that.
sure.
They're exposed to high level MLBB. Especially when they partook in MWI 2025, even MWI
I think some
2022.
of these Yeah, some of these ladies actually have like scrims with either the men's team.
Yeah.
So let's say in Navi they have a men's team. They'll do scrims with them. I know that the Philippine team Navi MLBB right now for the Philippines actually
Mm.
does scrims with the men's team, and that's actually the reason why they're improving every single time. And I want to ask you about this because Indonesia. I think I don't want to deny this. They've been such a powerhouse in female MLBB. They haven't lost a single match. I think they reached like what 200 plus like when it comes to like the win streak. So they
Yeah.
were Bigatron when I actually first casted their game. They were Bigatron. um was it Bigatron era? They were under
Yeah.
Bigatron era.
Era.
They moved into another team, and then eventually went to Team Vitality. So
Hmm.
such a strong team, and I think even the other teams who can't get a point up against Team Vitality right now, they're still really strong. And I think I talked to a lot of the casters, a lot of the teams here in the Philippines. They always tell me like, yeah, the Indonesian female teams are so strong. They constantly have tournaments here and there, whereas here in the Philippines, you only get like at least like once or twice every year. So it's not as frequent as Indonesia. So
Hmm.
I don't know, like the scene is just so big there in Indonesia, and a lot of the female players here actually want to get to that level. And I really hope whoever's watching this right now, hopefully there's just really more, female tournaments. I wouldn't say like an A tier, but hopefully like B or C tier even, because that's going to help the scene grow. Because here in the Philippines, there's not a lot. Like a lot of the people would actually prefer to watch like the males MLBB. So not a
Hmm.
lot of the females, just once or twice every year.
I think that's due to the fact that number one, Indonesia really loves its MLBB. It's a culture basically here. If you walk on the streets, you go to a local coffee shop, you'll see players that are just playing MLB for fun casually. And I
Oh
think that
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
translates into the women's improvement as well, because now we have a lot of leagues for the women's to partake in, even for Bigatron by Vitality, the women's team for Bigatron or Vitality. They are also given the green light to join in on the men's league in MDL, which is the development league. But still, I mean, being pitted against players that are so far from just being the best, I mean, it's going to be an improvement for them, right? I mean, if you take a look at MDL, it's mostly dominated by men's team, and then you see Onyx Partiui, one of the female teams of Onyx, and then you see
Oh yeah, yeah.
Bicatron by Vitality, that women's team also joining in. So I think that kind of exposes them to different play
Hmm.
styles, different metas, and then they are able to improve themselves because they are facing off against men's teams. Not saying that they're better, but they are
Yeah.
much more experienced. So I think that's going to
Oh yeah.
add, that's going to add experience. But now we'll take a look at the
Oh
draft
wow.
here as we are jumping right into
So
the
meta.
drafting phase. Still, meta bans. I mean, 1-1 is heavily respected. It was actually perma banned in MPL ID
Mm,
until yesterday, where EVOS picked it up, but they still lost the game because a throw that happened. But hey, it's still respected here. Baxia as well.
yeah. Yeah, Baksha, is the most flexible kind of pick that you would get right now. I would say it's pretty much in line or at the same tier with the
Mm.
Fredrin. So good with the rotates, even if you put it at Rome. I think to a certain extent, I've seen this in the lady scene here in the Philippines that they use the Baksha on the XP lane just to counter out all of those sustain heroes. The Zushin, that is just still so good right now. I mean, come on, this girl was nerfed. The mana regen was taken out. Like I think they lessened the mana region for the Zushin, which makes it a bit more difficult when it comes to the early game. But yeah, the one. I think these are just staple bans even in the men's scene, the CC as well. Apart from all of these like power picks that they're taking out, I think there's a heavy prio right now. If not on the jungle, it's actually the XP. The Lapu Lapu is so good. It had such a good run in the men's MLBB Iesf qualifier. So I don't know if we'll be seeing that the prio pick on that, if not the Arlot. So um, I'm looking at the bans here of Malaysia. It seems to be centered towards like rotations, sustainability. Since they are the first pick, they can pretty much ban out whatever they want. Since Cambodia will, yeah, they have to ban out those power picks right now.
Yeah, the power picks are very, very important to play with. So we'll just have to see. I mean, the CC taken out a very oppressive force of nature next lane. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
a very, very quick
yep,
setter, a very good setter, a very good frontline as well. Taken out because of the sustainability, like you said, they don't want to give sustainability to Cambodia. Because if you have a Chusin, very, very safe mid laner, Baxia as well with the anti-regen, Kalea with the Surge of Life that can always heal her teammates. So I think that's a very, very good ban. Now, though, for Cambodia, what do they want to take out here? I mean, the Lancelot is still there. The Yisun Shin as well is still up for grabs. So I think it's going to be a trade. I think Cambodia ban Yisun Shin here, and then they let Malaysia take Lancelot, and then they can take
yeah,
Farsa +1 in Red 1 too. So yeah, it's going to
yeah.
be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I think for Cambodia, again, pick your poison. There's just so many good meta heroes here right now, and it's gonna be the Eastern shit, of course. No team has ever let that slide. I mean, there are a couple teams that let that slide. They either pick like the Zushin, but since the Zushin is banned out, Lancelot for Malaysia, I think that's usually the
I
route
will
that you
choose
would
my
want to go
own
for.
path.
But the Arlot, oh, I love how this is going because me personally, or me and my friends, we'd actually pick up the Arlot first. It's so good for setting up the plays, the final slash, especially if you're gonna go with like a support roam. The Arlot is just very good when it comes to team fights.
Mhm.
Since the CC is also out, maybe Cambodia can go for a Lapu Lapu, Lapu Lapu Lancelot, which is usually
Yeah.
the answer to an Arlot.
They can postpone taking the mid laner here, because when you have a Lapu Lapu, when you have a Lancelot, you have Prio on two different lanes, having two different roles. The Lapu Lapu is a very strong laner up against the Arlet. You don't really want to put the Arlet on roam in this patch. That Arlet is 80% going to go to the XP lane unless
Yeah.
something happens that forces it to be flexed. But they'll go for the Lancelot and Gatot Kacha.
Oh, 50% right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
so
Gatot Kacha that had such a good run also in Iesf. That was probably the most satisfying AOGs that I've seen. Always
yeah.
on point. Shout out, by the way, to all of those roamers in the ISF men's qualifiers that use that Gatot Gacha so well. Malaysia now, I think this might be. Again, it's super
Seeking to
flex here for the
devour
Gatot
your
Gacha. You still
soul.
don't know where it's gonna go. The
You see
Lancelot,
value
of
in me?
obviously, is gonna go to the jungle. They
We
answer out with the
should.
Moskov and beef up their lineup with the Fredrin. So this is actually really interesting because a lot of the teams realize
Hmm.
always use like a center tank or either a hard front tank in their lineup when they have a Fredrin. But I actually want to see the teams utilize the supports because I know there were adjustments that were made into the Florine, the Rafaela that was reworked, but it's just so good to pair up with a utility jungler,
Yeah.
especially you going up against an assassin. You can beef up your lineup even more with the supports. I don't know if they're gonna go with that. So Cambodia, are you gonna pick up the mid laner,
Every bullet of
kind of
mine
ban
is a
out the
gift
last two
for
picks
you.
and squeeze everybody out of mid later picks, but they're gonna go ahead and go head to head with the Moscow with a Granger still very good in the meta right now.
My
Second
mission
banning phase, I
is to
feel like there's gonna
protect
be a heavy
lives.
contest on either the roam and of course the mid laner for both sides.
Hmm. So the Gatot Kacha gives them peel. I mean, the Granger also, just to make sure that there will be no bans towards the marksman, because in Malaysia we're able to take the Moskov quite early. The Fredrin up against the Lancelot, I think that's the matchup you want. So the Fredrin will have that survivability at least from having a tankier build. I mean, again, right? Tank against a Lancelot. But again, the Lancelot build in this patch is actually very, very disgusting. The War Axe
Oh yeah.
and then going to the
Oh my
Brute
gosh,
Force
War Axe,
Breastplate.
Brute
Yeah,
Force, and then you add the immortality, so it's just it's
it's a
like
semi tank.
yes, it's
I am
still a
not the
tanks a
only
lot.
one
It's still a
bound by
Yeah,
tanks a lot.
these
tanks a
Okay, I
lot.
mean
chains.
half of his name is a tank, so it's pretty much that. He built it half tank, half damage, and the damage is still insane. I mean,
Hmm.
even if you built it that way, so it's just really I would understand why it's a prior right now. Malaysia still anticipating that this is a Gatot Kacha that will be played in the Rome position, taking away the Phobius and Cambodia. Of course, these are smart last two bans coming out from Cambodia, honestly, because the Arlot and the Fredon are already too much front line that you need to peel. If you add like the Hylos and the Akai, there's just too much that you need to peel off. I feel like there's gonna be a contest for the Farsa here. Not unless Malaysia will ban that out, or not unless they want to ban out another XP laner here. But I feel like the
This land
Farsa
is our
should
homeland,
be.
and it will
Oh,
soon be
okay.
a burial
So the
ground.
Lapu Lapu, which is something I've been pointing out earlier. So Farsa for Cambodia, or are they gonna lock in their XP lane now?
Yeah,
I feel
target
like they
ban.
should get the Farsa.
They have to get the Farsa quickly, because there isn't much, there isn't uh, any more, or any a wide range of options for mid laners to pick over. I mean, the Juicen is taken out. Push comes to shove, you pick up a Yves, but you go Farsa here. It would be very fine because you have a Gatot Kacha to kind of cancel that out. But I think for Malaysia, the reason why they don't want to pick that Farsa quickly as well, because Gatot Kacha is picked up by Cambodia, and that can always be cancelled. The
Oh
ultimate
yeah.
with the Farsa coming in with the AOG, or the Avatar of the Guardian. So I think that's a dissuade approach. But hey, they pick up the
Oh,
Eve.
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you actually okay, so these are two high ground mages, right? So I
Hmm.
feel like Malaysia they're gonna be forced to get somebody with the same range as an Eve, and I think the Farsa is the next best option. I think for Cambodia, they're like, yeah, sure, pick up the Farsa. We got somebody to access the back line with the AOG and the Lancelot as well to dash in and just pick off that Farsa. But then again, the positioning is going to be key here. If they feel like they can pull this off, I feel like, when it comes to the range, it's just really Farsa and the Eve. I mean, I've seen this even when the Eve was released. Like, it's always the head-to-head battle between these two mages. I don't know, which one do you prefer? Realize, do you prefer the Farsa or do you prefer
What?
the Eve when it comes to the range? Oh, they go for the Kadena and Belric?
What is this?
Oh, to counter out the basic. Okay, honestly, okay, come on. I love the Belric. I love the Belric. The return damage is just a lot, but let's see. Let's see how will this pan out. There's just Cambodia high mobility with their lineup, so I don't know how this Belric will fit in, or not unless they just want somebody to soak up the front line.
Yeah, I'm flabbergasted on what they were able to pick up. I mean, you have the
Love it
Kadira.
though.
Because, yeah, I love it too. I mean, the Belleric is quite good to just mitigate the damage. I thought it was only going to be to stop a possible counter pick against the Moskov that Malaysia is uh, picking up. But, yeah, you have a Granger, you have a Yves, you have a Gatot Kacha that can always be troubled deeply by the Belleric. And now, they'll go for the Edith. Okay, so they have a setup.
Okay.
Quick way
Yeah.
of just tossing people around because Cambodia, they don't really have that setup unless you really want to pin everything up on the Gatot Kacha. So yeah, I think the Edith was necessary to just be as a quick setter for Cambodia. Plus they have a way to just beat out the Arlet in the lane.
Yeah, this is setups. I feel like for Malaysia, the layering of skills is so important, but for Cambodia, the control is just so strong. Can you imagine going up against a real world manipulation? Then you got an AOG, plus the stuns coming out from the Edith. There's just so much control. So if Cambodia is able to pull this off up against Malaysia, I think it's a matter of who engages first here, right? Like, if you're looking at the lineup these two teams, Malaysia is definitely gonna set things up first, for sure. You got a Beleric, you got a Fredrin. These are two heroes that just want a front line. So I feel like if Cambodia can just counter engage up against them, they can go head to head. There's a lot of control. But let's head over to game number one here of the Iesf Asia and Oceania qualifiers. This is Malaysia versus Cambodia here for game number one.
Here we go. Let's take a look at the line of dawn now. Malaysia against Cambodia, the Fredrin against the Lancelot in the jungle. But hey, we were surprised by that Belleric pickup, plus the Kadira. I mean, we saw the Kadira being picked up quite a few times in MPLID. I think it was a few days ago. And now it's making its way onto the ISF qualifiers here for Mlbb Women's Southeast Asia. So we'll take a look at how this will pan out. I mean, if you take a look at the clear speed coming in, the Lancelot will always have prio because it's very quick to clear. Oh,
Oh,
Baobei.
wow.
So
Baobei.
low. The Granger bullied down bottom by the Moskov. I mean, the Kadira was also coming through in proximity. So that is the reason why the Granger was so low. We can take a look at the Belleric, just shadowing for the other laners. It's going to be a fight here in the bush, but Rina will always be able to just move back. So there might be a skirmish here, but they're still holding their trigger.
They're gonna
close.
contest.
The purple buff, so low and
Revitalize.
contested. Revitalize is out. Tagami is able to get the first blood. Rina is under pressure, and that's going to be a double kill for the Lancelot. That is very expensive. That shot wants to come in flying colors as a hero, but it's all too late. As Cambodia, they plunder 2 kills and a purple buff.
Yep, that's what you call disgusting from the Lancelot. That's not. I feel like at this point I want to check out the items. There's no items just yet, and that's how much damage she's rocking. Is that a impure rage on a Lancelot too? So
Yeah.
yeah, the dashes, 2 kills already immediately for Tegami here, and I think this is just gonna go downhill if they keep feeding this Lancelot the kills. For Malaysia, I think this is about Fafao scaling up. Shah getting his lanes well, but I think for Cambodia, they're just, they know they have the control. They're just gonna keep doing this. Cambodia gonna start up the turtle here right now. Care of Tegami already at half HP. Look at how much damage that is. Look at the zoning coming out from Shah, but the turtle 1/4 HP. I think with the control that Cambodia has up against this turtle, they're just gonna pick it up for themselves. The first turtle goes to Cambodia.
Oh, there goes the RWM and the AOG cancelled though. There goes the rough waves. The flicker coming in from Moshi. He wants to catch Hani, and Hani's able to pick up or rather move back and retreat. So you can take a look at the pressure from Cambodia. So good. They have AoE control. If you want to step forward, the RWM will always wait for you. And the Gatot Kacha, defensively, offensively, can always pop the AOG to either run back or just dive in towards Malaysia. So not much control. Yuki with the Belleric hasn't been able to see momentum to pop the Wraith of Dryad. As purple buff again invaded,
Oh man.
Tegami has to be careful, but he is a Lancelot. AOG onto
Oh.
two! And they connect, but that's gonna be Hana picking up the kill. Elan able to move one back, but Uwe with the movement. The Praiser's Wrath will not be able to lock into two. And Hani forced to move back the SOD. Will he take it? Or will she take it? Excuse me. No. SOD still held on.
Oh. Yep, I feel like it's a bit too early there for Fafao to engage. The Moscow does need more time. I think for Cambodia, they were a little bit too overzealous in that situation, knowing that the Lancelot has already 2 kills. 2-1-2. I think it was a great clap back coming out from Malaysia, but I think at this point, let's take a look at the damage dealt. I was going to point out the Eve. There's just so much peel here for Cambodia. This is the reason, this is the exact reason why they keep going in for these team fights. It's because they got the Eve to slow everybody down, and before Hani could even set up anything, it's just there's already too much peel. All Tegami needs to do is just go in for the final kill, and it's just they're just way too clean for Cambodia. They just gotta avoid all of these clapbacks coming out from Malaysia. Though they do have the front line to sustain all of that, but the second circle is coming up. Gold lead 2K. Malaysia still lead. Cambodia rather still leading at this point.
The Eve is starting to hurt a lot. I mean, the Void Blast as well, contributing to what is a very, very hard game for Malaysia in the first 4 minutes. No prio whatsoever. The Belleric still rendered immobilized. Thunderbelt secured by Moshi. With all the players from Cambodia getting their power spikes slowly but surely. Energy eruption on towards UA. A taunt not connecting yet. The turtle still in their eyes.
Huh?
Shao wants to come in. Oh, flicker back, but it's gonna be
Oh, the
Rina
steal.
stealing it. The Wraith of Dryad in the back, downs onto two. SOD comes in. Fofo gets the knock up on towards Baobe. It's gonna be a kill, but oh, there's gonna be a turnaround with the rough waves as well. In the middle of the fight with Tagami, still going ham, and the Lancelot
Hani.
sees Honey in her eyes. A triple kill for the Lancelot. 5-1. The Lancelot is steamrolling in this match.
Yeah, even though there was a pickoff earlier, Tagami just went in for the kills. Just final kills. All you needed to do was she rather needed to do was just go for the cleanup work. And look at that. This is what you're talking about. Disgusting damage coming out from the Lancelot with just a war axe. This is just shades of the tanks a lot working in the current meta. And I feel like this next item should be, is this going towards a no, 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 not so sure if it's a thunderbelt or maybe an immortality, but hey, it's Cambodia leading the charge right now. So much peel, so good for the lineup here. Tagami is just having such a good time with this lineup. I mean, the Eve already peels up so much of the members here of Malaysia, and all Tegami needs to do is just go for the final kill. And yeah, it's just so cleanly executed. There are some answers from Malaysia here, but how can they answer out to real with manipulation? How can they answer out to the stuns coming out from Moshi? So there's a lot that they need to deal with as well before they can even go for the full engage.
Type Piercer from Baobe. That means they can play from range, right? And it makes sense now, Kim. This composition is all about peeling, like you said. You have an Edith, you have a Gatot Kacha, you have the Lancelot who can just dive into the back. Oh no, Hanny. Oh, what? Hey, Lan, so low! The rough waves with the burst, but Tegami will not let that slide. Rina still under pressure, but Tegami will run away. Here comes Yuki. Wraith of Dryad. Will it be popped? Taunted on 2-3, but no follow-up just yet.
Oh,
and it's gonna be Yuki just dealing the damage, but it's gonna be Falco jumping with the SOD to turn around. It's gonna be Malaysia popping heads left and right. Tegami still survives, crying for help. With the Thorn Rose and the Puncture, she makes her way out. But that's Malaysia, finally, with all the lead given in their hands.
Yep, I think we got Wise in a show match before using the Fredrin saying, no, 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 rather it was V saying, oh, so that's how it feels like to get slapped by the Appraiser's Wrath of a Fredrin. Did you see that? I was like, two. So Rina at this point is like, yeah, you know what? Just put out all of the damage as long as I can sustain it. That ultimate is up. I can slap back or clap back with the damage. That was two members of Cambodia, and then all the rest of Malaysia's team needed to do was just go in for the kill. Fafao can have that opening once the Appraiser's Rat has been released, as well as the Rat of Dryad coming out from Yuki. So I think for Malaysia, they got a very good lineup for clapbacks. But for Cambodia, again, with Tegami this far ahead when it comes to the gold, it's just so difficult, not unless they get, a shutdown on Tagami right now, who's standing at 7-1-4, pretty much leading the charge here up against Malaysia.
This is not looking good. At least they peeled now. So Malaysia, it's all about turning around. It's all about counter engages, right? So you're just gonna let Cambodia jump in, pop their spells, pop their ultimates left and right, and then Malaysia can come crawling in because you have Yuki with the Wraith of Dryad that's a very very good counter engage tool. Plus the fact that you have Hani bursting people down with the rough waves, that's a very good tool. But Shao wants to come in. Tagami will be tickled down. So back to my point, right? Cambodia picking up a very good peel composition, just letting the
Hmm.
Yeve and the Granger pop the damage. The Granger can hit from afar. The Yeve will just pop the chessboard, the RWM, if Malaysia comes too close. And that's all their game plan is. So if Malaysia are able to make their way into the backline, I think it's going to be Hani as the catalyst to burst down the backline of Cambodia, take down the carries. But then I think the Gatot Kacha, the Edith won't really hurt that much,
Hmm.
and a blade armor purchased by the Edith, very very good against the Moskov, against the Belarik, against the Kadita as well later on. As the Lord spawns now, a taunt on towards Yuki, but she's gonna be fine. She's a tanky, beefy, a tree right there. So now their focus shifts on the Lord.
Yeah, they were gonna try to gank Fafao there down bot. It's a good thing that Yuki was there to give the vision. But Rina starts up the Lord here for the side of Malaysia. Again, it could be um, something that Cambodia needs to answer out to. Plus the the solo pushes or the side lane pushes that are done here by Fafao. But then again, you're talking about Lancelot here that can just swiftly dive in with the ultimate here and just steal away that lord. There's so much crowd control here from Malaysia. They already, I feel like at this point, they already have enough items to sustain the damage output that's being put out here by Malaysians. They can put up a fight, but then again, they have to deal with these pokes right before the lord take. The revitalize has been popped. Look at Sha with the ultimate there. The Rat of the Riot gets it too, but they're able to sustain. Ome goes down, and the AOG misses. It's gonna be Sha in the middle of everything as Tegami again goes in for the dashes and Sha gets taken down. That's gonna be two members taken down there from the side of Cambodia for the price of one. But the lane's gonna be moving as well down bot here from Malaysia. So I think for the side of Cambodia, they should go ahead, take this Lord since they already committed to that team fight and there's not gonna be any contest at all. It's gonna go to Cambodia here, the first Lord of the game. But it's a good thing that Malaysia has at least answered out with the macro play.
Yeah, that macro play is very underrated for Malaysia now. They have the Moskov, side lane pressure always gonna be a priority for Malaysia. They have the Kadita as well, who is very, very mobile. Can go for single solo assassinations. But as of now, Cambodia still wins out on the fight. So, Tegami, oh, what do you have up on your
Oh,
sleeves? But it's gonna be the Wraith
that a
of
grab?
Riyadh in the back. Oh, the final slash connects onto two. That's gonna be Yuki getting the kill towards Yue. A counter engage coming in from Malaysia. It seems like they're gonna win this round out, but Yuki has to run back. Baobei gets the kill. Oh, the final that Sonata doesn't connect. If it does, Yuki might be in big trouble. But again, just beating back and forth. Cambodia gets that win though, because now they have a pushing lane up top with the Lord, and in the mid lane, Bao Bei will take the fight onto her own hands. The rough waves has to be popped, and that's going to be a mid lane turret missing now for Malaysia.
Yep, I think for Hani, again, the ultimates, it's just like a one-hit delete kind of combo. But at this point, how can you delete the members here of Cambodia when there's just so much engages that are happening first? Because you gotta get that combo in right if you wanna go for those kills. But Cambodia getting in a lot of these second-tier turrets already with the first Lord and looking at the damage still, again, still Tegami standing up top, followed by Elan with the Eve. That's second, of course, peeling out the members here of Malaysia first. It's so difficult to go up against this. The retribution used there by Rina just to get in that red buff, but Cambodia is slowly creeping in the jungle side here of Malaysia. Rina standing at level 13, 2 levels below Tegami at this point.
And now, let's take a breather, right, Malaysia? When do they really want to pounce back? When do they really want to hit back? Oh, the taunt connects, and that's going to be Tegami dodging
AOG?
everything. The rough waves doesn't really connect onto Tegami. A Blazer right in the back, and now they pop the ultimate from the Belleric, but Shah's going to get the kill. The SOD lands, but where is the teleport? Not yet taken by the Moskov. It's gonna be Fao just progressing down bottom, pushing the waves. Oh, pick off towards Tagami, and that's a very, very valuable kill. The Lancelot is gone, but still, Cambodia, they have priority in the mid lane. Shao with the final slash
Oh,
connects onto
final slash!
two, but no follow-up. It's gonna be a counter engage coming in from the Edith, but but Baobei will get the turret whatsoever. Louis forced to move back. The taunt connects. Rina will again bounce forward. The Appraiser's Wrath connects. Moshi gets taken so low. Bao Bei still wants to take the fight, but look it up down bottom. Fao
Wow.
still able to dish out the damage, and she has to run away now.
Okay, this is I would say a W for Malaysia. Now that the lane is moving down bot, right? They're pressuring that bottom lane so hard, knowing that this is a again a lineup with a Moskov that can just go for the split push, just go for the pressure on the bot lane, and maybe perhaps like just use the Lord as a bait and they can go for the final finish. This has happened several times in EPL Philippines. I'm not so sure if it's going to be a thing here in Iesf, but definitely it will cause Cambodia here to react to Fafao. That's gonna be like at least two
Oh no.
members out from the team fight. But Fafao though, again, gonna have to pay the price. Will he be able to make it? The revitalize has been popped, and that's gonna be kill going to the side of Malaysia. A crucial one before the second Lord is up.
No side pressure now. It's gonna be Hani just rearranging the waves up top, but they have Prio on the Lord. It's gonna be for Cambodia, the second Lord of the game, potentially in their hands, in their cards away. Still being the main tank up in the middle
Yep.
line of the fight. Now it's gonna be the Lord taking down Solo. AOG connects onto Shah. No follow-up. The RWM
Oh,
pop. The Lord so low.
RWM.
It's gonna be a contest now. Where's the retribution? A
Right.
Brazer's Wrath! Rina gets it for herself. And now it's gonna be Tagami beat into a pop. He has to move back. It's gonna be Yue. Also
Bawe,
still in the front
Bawe.
line. Bao Bei so low. Has to run away. The SOD misses. Bao Bei taunted. And he deems it worthy of an ultimate. They're gonna be able to get the Lord, get 3 kills. Malaysia turn things around.
The hold on for Malaysia into the late game. Fafao is active and pretty much at this point Marina already clapping back with the Appraiser's Rage, which is just such a good thing to answer out to Cambodia here. But Tagami gonna try to make a play here, gonna get the Appraiser's Wrath dashing out as Fafao will be slicing and dicing into the second tier turret as the final slash gonna connect through way. AOG onto 3 members. They're gonna catch them, but no follow-up just yet. They're gonna have to defend up against this W for Malaysia. They got the Lord, 3 takedowns as well. So this is gonna be Cambodia now with their backs against the wall. The setup here onto Shah. Gonna get punished there by Tagami as the bullets coming through here from Baobei. Gonna be forcing the rest of the members here of Malaysia to just back away as they successfully defend their base.
Well, we have a game in our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Malaysia and Cambodia duking it out. Still the first game, the first match of the day. And now we will move our attention to the item build. The Granger, full items, the Moskov as well. With that Malefic gun, we'll be able to poke from afar. Extra range. But look at the gold lead coming in from the Moskov. Fao.
Yep.
Just farming a storm.
12.2.
12.2k gold in her own pocket. Let's take a look at how they will be able to answer this. Even the Queen's Wings for the Lancelot to have the damage reduction because there is way too much damage for Malaysia. Now that the lanes
Yep.
are reset, now that the bottom side turret for Cambodia is broken down, it seems like Malaysia has way much more agency to move around
Mhm.
and just force on a team fight, a skirmish, pressure all around the map. As take a look at the Moskov as well, right? So mobile, able to just play the side lanes and then pop the SOD
Yeah.
if push comes to shove. The fight just ensues. So that's gonna be the priority for Malaysia now. They're just gonna be playing this. They're just gonna play this slowly, a tug of war, basically.
Yeah, where Art Fafao is gonna be the question here because Cambodia is looking so is actually looking really deep into where Fafao is gonna be next. So they're really gonna have to answer that out before the Lord take. So as you can see, a lot of the members here of Cambodia are just gonna go towards the bottom lane, making sure that either they get a pick off onto Fafao or at least take down Yuki because these are the two heroes that have been pushing this lane back and forth. So I think this just causes a lot of reaction from Cambodia, right? So it's gonna be at least like two members going down bot. I think at times it's gonna be three. You put away Moshi there. I think the biggest problem here is the sustain is already up here for Rina, and this is why you don't want a Fredrin, and then you get a scaling type of gold laner. So the Moscow can just pretty much just clear out the lane onto the bottom side. So I think there's gonna be two questions here: is Cambodia gonna go to where Fafao is, or at least answer out or help out in the Lord take here? Because that's really difficult, right? Pressure on the bottom lane, the Moscow can solo push, but at the same time, if they go for engages right now, Rina is so tanky, Yuki is so tanky, they can sustain up any of the damage right now. You can see the clapback onto Cambodia earlier in the team fight. So not unless they can catch Rina here all alone, but he has a lot of defensive items. Not unless they can burst him down. She does have the immortality right now, taking that real low. AOG under the back lines, gets down one. There's the Spirit Destruction from the Moscow. Bow back, gonna take the Moscow. Comes right in with
What?
the ultimate, and is gonna be able to pop in that Winter Crown there for Elan. Moshi gonna be able to sustain for a bit, but Cambodia one by one they're getting
Tagami.
taken down. Even Tagami is not able to sustain the attack speed coming out from
Woo!
Fafao. If she does make it out, it's gonna the great escape, but no escape from Fafao as she is active right now on full speed, as the rest of Malaysia knows that this is the time to shine. That's gonna be 4 members down with the dead timers up. I feel like this is gonna be it for the side of Cambodia. It's only a way left to defend. There's gonna be the minion waves as Fabao gonna lock into the base. Ultimate being up as they go in for the reverse, the epic comeback up against the side of Cambodia.
Oh, Malaysia, they put full trust and faith on that composition. We were saying that the early game was so weak when they had a Belleric as well to back up the Fredrin under pressure by the Lancelot, but still, Fafao with that Moskov doing God's work, but mostly that was also Hani, right as the Kadira burst damage going on through. And the later the game goes, it feels like Cambodia did not have many options, especially for Baobei, who kept on dying in the backline. And we said it, if they're able to make their way onto the carries, Cambodia does not really have adequate damage to just take down Malaysia. And I'll take a look at the highlights here, in which it was mostly just bloodbaths left and right. The team fights were so chaotic. Fao though as the Moskov just dishing the damage, so mobile, doing everything she could to turn the tides around, especially playing the side lanes, playing down bottom as the Moskov. And Tagami was playing out of her mind, but it was just not enough. We said it that we talked about it. The fact that Cambodia had this composition to play Peel, to play far back, right? Just trying to defend the backliners. They had the Eve to pop the RWM, and then they have the Granger who can shoot from far away. It's still not enough because Malaysia were always able to make their way into the backline. And if Cambodia really wants to jump in with the AOG plus a follow-up, the Wrath of Dryad is always there to stop Cambodia from progressing even further. And then you have a Fredrin on top of that who is very tanky, can buy a lot of time. So take a look at this fight as well. That was Rina buying so much time. Hani just pressuring. The AOG did connect on towards the Belleric, but look at the Wrath of Dryad there. Just popped.
On
And
to
then,
three.
yeah, on to three. And then the Eve couldn't do much escape. I mean, the Winter Crown was there to stop and buy some time, but it was still not enough. And then Fafao just doing her own thing. I think the Malefic gun was so good here because the passive still registered just by hitting the purple buff, and that's the end of Cambodia in game one. Malaysia with a very valiant comeback, able to shut down and take game one.
Yep, it's I would say this game was stretched out for quite some time. As you can see, like the ultimates from Fafao actually it did hit the members here of Cambodia, but you know, if it wasn't time, that she wasn't gonna go in and kind of put her life on the line, especially since if you don't have the items just yet for the Moskov, you can't really go for the full engage. But once she had all of those, right, like that last clash just sealed the deal there for the side of Cambodia, taking it all in. Props to Rina as well, and Yuki, who has assisted Fafao, or enabling Fafao, taking up the frontline damage. Looking at the overall stats here, you see, of course, Tagami being the ATM and carry, of course, um, racking up a lot of those kills in the early game, but again fell short to the side of Malaysia once Fafao was active. And as you can see, the tank It is gonna be Bao Bei. I feel like at this point it might actually be Yuki or Rina. Like the Appraisal Strat hit so many members of Cambodia in several clashes that it just kind of turned around the tides for the side of Malaysia for the team fights, and that's why I'd like to say the Fredrin is just a great counter to all of these assassins. Like
Yeah.
the Joy, the Fredrin is also the answer.
Mhm.
The Lancelot, all these high burst heroes, the Fredrin can definitely sustain. And then if you got a scaling marksman like the Moskov, it's just really easy to put out these heroes and enable them to shine, especially in the late game.
Mm, what a game that was. I mean, that was pure brilliance coming in from both teams. Cambodia were able to show their flair in the early game. They were able to dominate earlier on as the minutes went by. But Malaysia, with their comeback, they still had full faith in the composition to scale into the late game. I mean, the Moskov against the Granger. The Granger is much more burstier, but the Moskov can always just pin you down with the Spear of Misery plus the attack speed, and then she went for the Malefic gun as well, right? So extra range. But hey, that's still game one. So epic, so chaotic. But yeah, we'll take a break and we will see you guys in game two right after this. Welcome back to the World Esports ISF qualifiers for Asia and Oceania Mlbb Women's 2025. Still with me, Realize, as well as Kim. And take a look at the first game, and that was a very epic game, a chaotic one as well. We thought that Cambodia was going to sweep the floor with that composition that they had, a very strong composition, mid to early to mid. They had that front line sweeping for them. The back line was just gonna dish out the damage to the Iesf through the Granger. But hey, Malaysia said no. They initiated the comeback and they were able to take that 1-0.
Yep, the lineup. But I feel like it was for a while, you'd be a bit worried, especially in the early game. It's like, how are they gonna cross that early game? So there's a lot of kills coming out from the side of Cambodia, care of Tagami. But I think ultimately, it was just the tanky lineup here, the setups, the clapbacks that can be done with the Belleric because there's return damage even with the Fredrin. Then right after that, all Fafao needed to do was just get the items and yeah, late game. Like there's a thing in here in the Philippines where you call where we actually say late game kaya pa, or it means
Ah.
that we can still do it. Just
Mhm.
wait for the late game. So it's I think this is a classic example of what that kind of matchup is, right? Like once you get the items, once Mafao was able to was confident enough to go in for those dives. There was only one time she actually landed at AOG several times, but there was only one time that she actually came out from that AOG and
Yeah.
went for the full strike. There wasn't even an inspire there. So with how fast she was like shredding apart the members of Cambodia was just insane at that point, and they were able to go for yeah just a straight push there and end the game.
That straight push was yeah, they initiated that because they saw the opportunity to just end that. But I think a very underrated portion of that game was the fact that they had the side lane pressure coming in from the Moscow, from the Kadita as well. I mean, none of the players in Cambodia were able to answer that. I mean, you have the Lancelot that could do that, but mostly the Lancelot was just looking for the backline, diving in to kill the Kadita, to get the kill going through the damage dealers of Malaysia. So yeah, that was a well-rounded comp from both teams. To be honest, Cambodia did their portion with the early game and the mid game. Malaysia trusted that composition, but I think I want to shout out to the Belleric pick. Right, the Belleric pick is very good because
Mm-hmm.
number one, you can catch the Lancelot diving in. You can just pop your ultimate, the Wraith of Dryad, and just get that kill. Or number two, it's somehow a counter initiation to the AOG from the Gatot Kacha, right? The Gatot Kacha surely hits people coming into and just flying in with the AOG. So once that happens, the Belleric can just ult away, and then no follow up would be done because the moment you see an AOG flying in and then the three players are knocked up, obviously the teammate is gonna follow right on through from the back. But that did not happen at all because the Belleric, the ultimate was on time, right on cue, and yeah, I think that Belleric pick was very underrated, very good as well. So yeah, we
I
were
love me
very
some underrated
yeah
picks.
underrated
I
picks
love me some underrated picks.
that
Yeah.
worked, right? That worked because we saw some,
Yes, that worked.
we saw some underground picks like the Hanabi and Mia, but hey, that was
Mhm.
that was just for laughs. So I think that Belleric pick was good. The Kadita as well to just be a mobile, a menace for Malaysia to stop everything out. So yeah, that's a very very nice
Yeah,
set of picks.
respect. I really love seeing these in qualifiers, like
Hmm.
picks that are uncontemporary, but they actually work out. I was actually wondering, I didn't get to dive into that earlier. I was like, oh wow, the Belric's on a revitalize. I know this is something that the tankier picks always use.
Hmm.
Especially in the current meta, I was expecting something along the lines of a vengeance to just return so much more damage.
Yeah.
But I think with the revitalize being put into play, you just know that it was just built for the team fights, right? Like there's a Fredrin up to soak up the damage. There's a return damage coming out from that. Plus, if you pop in the ultimate from the Belleric, there was just too much return damage going to the side of Cambodia at that. There was just too much to take in. But now we're going into the second game. It's a match point for Malaysia already. So Cambodia, they are on, yeah, they have the prio pick right now, still banning away the Baksha and the Arlot this time. That also did a great deal of setup plays for the side of Malaysia earlier. So respecting that just now. So XP Laner take out the permaban on the 1-1 for now. Let's see if it's going to be opened up later on. The Yeeson Shin, I'm not so sure if it's going to be banned or whatnot, but I feel like that's going to be up to Malaysia, right? If they don't ban it out, they can either pick it up or let Cambodia decide that. So either they can open up the Yeeson Shin, Cambodia picks that up, they answer out with the Lancelot. So it's either or at this point. So Cambodia, their last ban for the previous game was a Kalea, if I'm not mistaken. So it's all these setter tags or the Fredrin, if
Hmm.
Malaysia wants to go for that same type of composition again, have that sustain in the front line, and then get Fafao on something scaling like the Moskov earlier.
Hmm.
Oh,
Very
Matilda.
very unique ban. I mean, a few patches ago, a few seasons ago, it was a perma ban, but now taken out to anticipate a potential Fredrin, maybe because the Fredrin Matilda is a very strong combo, right?
Ah, yeah.
So that could be the case where they really want to ban out the Matilda to tone down jungle pressure given by the Fredrin. Now Malaysia, a lot of options for bans. The Yisun Shin I think makes sense, and then you can just trade back. A lot Yisun Shin wide open. Oh yeah, they have to
Yep.
pick it up.
Yep, it's the Yisun or the Lancelot at this point. What are they gonna pick up? If they want to start it off with something different, they can also pick up the Kalea, right? But that's gonna give Malaysia the power pick of picking up either the Lancelot or the Yisun Shin. So
Mm.
I think for the men's division, it was mostly centered towards a Yisun Shin first pick, especially when you're on the blue side. It's a very good scaling hero. You can go with sustained side lanes even at that. Like if you have the Yisun Shin in the jungle, it's a bit slower compared to Lancelot when it comes to the scaling, since the Lancelot can pretty much just do pickups in the early game. So it's gonna be Cambodia locking in, of course, the Yi Sun Shin that has been banned away in game number one. Malaysia can answer with the yeah, they can get it either a power pick right now on the XP or again go for the Lancelot Gatot Kacha that works so well in game number one, or they can go for again the same lineup that they had was the Fredrin, Gatot Kacha, tanky front lines, and then Fafao on yeah, a Moskov or a scaling type of hero.
Mm-hmm. I've been the last
Oh, okay,
Farsa.
okay.
Okay, so they want to have the team fighting presence again, and the Gatot Kacha to peel themselves away with the AOG. The Farsa is very, very good pick as well to go for first. But I think the Farsa is still kind of vulnerable to the Yisun Shin. But hey,
Yeah,
that's what the Gatot Kacha
very
is there
much.
for. So you're gonna need an extra frontliner to help shield and protect the Farsa because it's basically protect Mr. President. But now Cambodia, what do they want to pick up here? An XP does make sense. The Arlet banned out, so maybe a Lapu Lapu could be an option as well. Or maybe they want to give me an Hylos.
Oh, Kimi
Give me
Hylos.
Hylos.
So
Okay.
lethal. Such a lane bully for the Farsa. Again, this is something that they wanted to avoid. So they pick up the Gatot Kacha
Hmm.
just so that they don't have that AOG to deal with if they have the Farsa on their hands. But then again, Cambodia picks up the Hylos and the Kimi that can just pressure out that mid lane, since the Farsa just has very good wave clear and at the same time can go with the wings by wings and just go to the side lanes and just go in for those gank plays. But Malaysia
Yep.
will actually take away the Lancelot. So I was like, it's either a battle between sustain or utility or just assassin versus sustain. But now you're gonna go with the scaling lineup, the Musician and the Lancelot for the jungle this time for the side of Malaysia. Now there's going to be a heavy contest on the XP here for sure. Not unless they want to put that Hylos in the XP, which we haven't seen for so long. It's usually used as a roam right now. Lapu Lapu, the CC has been taken out as well as the Arlot. So I feel like at this point they will take away, yeah, a Kai or maybe the Lapu Lapu on the XP lane or even the Phoveus that is just so good in the laning phase.
Way. So trying to tone down and just tone down the options for marksman pickups, right, from both teams. The Granger band here might do good. What else are we thinking of here? I mean, some niche picks as well needs to be battened out. But for Malaysia, they are yet to pick up an XP laner. I mean, the high loss here for Cambodia could go roam, could go XP. What do they want to ban out? Remember the Kimmy? I don't think it'll be flexed because in this meta it's still much better in the mid lane. I mean, it used to be played in the gold
Yeah.
lane, but it's not that viable as much compared
Yeah.
to a few patches ago. So yeah, ban out the Granger here if you want. But again, for Malaysia, they have to have a plan B. What marksman will they want to play here, right? Preferably a marksman that can hit from
Claude or
afar.
Herod?
Yeah, Claude
Yeah.
Harrot's still available.
Claude scaling.
Potentially
If
for
you want to talk
Malaysia.
about scaling, yeah.
Yep.
Um, Lapu Lapu, I'm thinking Phoveus is still open here. So there's going to be a contest, especially since Malaysia will have the first pick in the second phase.
Sure.
They take away the Irithel, so it's all of these mobile lineups. But I feel like
Ah.
at this point, it's too much scaling for Cambodia, don't you think? Like,
Mm-hmm.
will they go for like a fighter type of like gold lane? Since the Yi Sun-shin and the Kimi does need the time to build the items first, they do have the Hylos though. But my only worry is that this Lancelot can also pretty much do the same thing that they did in game number one, just snowball in the early and just not let that Yi Sun-shin farm or even the Kimi farm at this point. So there's already two scaling, the jungle and the mid lane. So I feel like if they add another scaling type of hero in the gold lane, it might be harder to carry off the team fights in the early stages. Not
Yeah,
unless they really want to go for that. It's absolutely lethal though when it comes to the late game. No doubt about that.
it's hard to ration out the resources as well, right? Because Yisun Shin Kimi
Yeah.
plus gold hungry gold laner might just because they need heroes to farm up a bunch, and it's gonna be hard to divide that away. So the Phoveus picked up. I mean, that Granger ban was good from Cambodia because they anticipated a Granger pickup with that Erythel ban. So now for Cambodia, what do they want to pick up here? I mean, if you're talking about fighter gold laners, we are still yet to see Malaysia's gold lane. So it's pretty hard for them to blind pick a Ruby in the
Yeah.
gold lane or maybe a Cho. We saw
Yeah.
yesterday Eman from Bigatron by Vitality and MPL ID pick up a Cho up against a 1-1. So that might be an option, but again, it's pretty hard to pull off because
Yeah.
again, you need setup. This team still has no strong setup. So I think for Cambodia,
Yeah.
pick
For sure.
a good
There
team
you
fight and they
go.
go for Lea, but up against Gatot Kacha, that's gonna be a bit problematic because then they will go for the Beatrix. So yeah,
Okay.
triple hyper
Yeah.
carry pickups.
Triple. Yes, I was gonna say that. I was like, so much. Okay, they really, really have to take it slow in the early. But I feel like for Malaysia, this is the time. If they were the ones who were like, yeah, let's take it slow in game number one, but now they can go all out. This is like three marksmans in, yeah, jungle. The yeah, considering also the Kalea will be put in the roam, so I would have to say that
Oh,
it's absolutely lethal here for Cambodia in the late game, and they pick up the Bruno here, knowing that this is gonna be yeah, a composition that will group up together, especially you have the high loss to front. So I think at this point it's just the high loss to front, the damage plus the Kalea. I think it leaves them very vulnerable at the state. You got a Phoveus, you got an AOG from the God of Gacha, and then you got the Lancelot to also slice and dice you. I'm not so sure about this lineup of Cambodia. Absolutely lethal though. Absolutely lethal. Three marksmen. If you snowball with this type of composition, it's gonna be hard to clap back from that. But it's a risk that they're willing to take in this match point up against Malaysia.
hmm I mean, again, the Bruno, it fares off pretty well up against the Beatrix, but the Beatrix now will not be able to take Purify. So I don't know how the Beatrix will be able to escape the AOG from the Gatot Kacha. But hey, we'll just take a look at the line of Dawn now. Will Malaysia be able to pull off the 2-0? Or will Cambodia force us to game number 3? This is game number 2. the first match of the day, Malaysia against Cambodia. We saw Malaysia pulling off the comeback earlier on in game number 1. Now they themselves pick up the Lancelot, again hoping for it to snowball quickly. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room for Cambodia, resource. Because the three of
Mm.
these heroes needs to farm hyper aggressively. They need their items, they need the gold. So now the question is, who do they prioritize, right? Who do they really want to give the gold to? Is it
Yep.
gonna be the Yisun Chin? Is it gonna be the Beatrix or the Kimmy? I mean, the Kimmy can still be a supportive approach for them. So I think it's either gonna be the Beatrix or the Yisun Chin.
Yeah. The Kimi can pretty much poke in the laning phase. So I feel like at this point it's going to be the Yi Sun Shin, right? Like the Yi Sun Shin, if farmed up well, is going to be so good. But again, that's up to Cambodia to decide. And I'm actually a little bit worried that the Hylos is now going to go towards the XP lane, but up against the Phobius, that's not level 4 yet. It can pretty much still join the team fights. But yeah, it's such a vulnerable lineup that they got a Farsa to peel. They got the Lancelot plus the setups from the Gatot Kacha and the Phobius. So I feel like the positioning is going to be important here for the side of Cambodia since they got three hyper carries or three scaling types of heroes. So I feel like the early stages of the game to secure the turtle is super important here for Cambodia. And as you can see, there's a lot of pressure already onto the XP lane, knowing that this is the one. Moshi's gonna be the one to soak up all of the damage in those team fights.
Mm-hmm. Turtle spawn now. And it seems like the XP laner from Malaysia, shot rotating on towards mid, trying to patrol around that jungle from Cambodia. They will try to take this turtle for free. It seems like it's going to be uncontested as Elan and Moshi will try to move back. That's going to be the ultimate popped, but that's about it. Oh, look at Tagami just trying to invade from the back. The Yisun Shin under pressure. And it goes to Tsunami Slam. Oh, Rina taken down quickly. But that's going to be the Feather Airstrike to push away the players of Cambodia. First blood for Fao Fao. That's going to be the Yisun Shin taken down. Now they push back. Now they bounce back. The AOG
Oh, the
onto
layer of
2.
skills.
So beautiful. Bao Bei with the Nibiru's passion. Not enough. Thorn Rose is enough to take him down. Or take her down. That's going to be Cambodia losing 3 as Malaysia take everything.
Yeah, do they got the power? They definitely do for Cambodia. That's three marksmen. But like what I said, you're left so vulnerable once the Moshi and Wei is out of the picture, right? And they can definitely do that. So much peel, setups after setups. I feel like it's still too early to tell. I'd give them that. Like it's early to tell if they can get either kills or maybe even a bit more resources here. Maybe just maybe they can do that. But there's just a lot going on every single time, right? Like you see the AOG coming out from the Gatot Gacha, it just kind of counters out the rest of Cambodia. They're left either backing away from the team fights, knowing that yeah, a lot of these heroes that they have can't really sustain the damage output. Not like what they had in game number 1. So it's already 4 kills towards the side of Malaysia, not just yet for the side of Cambodia. Not unless they want to sandwich the members here of Malaysia, as Yuki already spotting out the members here of Cambodia gonna be already camping out in this turtle pit right before it heads up level 5. So I feel like at this point Cambodia, their heroes are slowly catching up, but again there's just so much more to do in this game. It's just 4 minutes in, and with the lineup here, a more balanced lineup coming out from the side of Malaysia, it's gonna be really hard. Just one feathered airstrike, just look at that, it just forces everybody to back away. Turtle is up for the taking. Malaysia has taken the first one, so let's see if Cambodia will be able to take this for their side.
Oh, Elad forced to flicker back. That's going to be a very, very important resource. Burn, traction pulse, sucks Sha inside, and that's going to be Sha moving back. The Tsunami
Oh.
Slam will lock her in place, and she gets the lead at AOG to counter it. That's not going to be enough, as Rina will be able to take down the turtle. They move forward, they pounce forward. Nibiru's passion popped by Bao Bei. With the gun down on towards Yuki, Yuki will be taken down. That's going to be a 2-for-none trade, but at least Malaysia are able to get the turtle. But is that going to be worth it? Is that the price for salvation?
Yeah, I think at this point is the best that Cambodia can do in those clashes is just to, they can burst down these heroes coming out from Malaysia, right? They got a Beatrix, they got a Kimi to even poke. and add up to that damage. They can definitely do that, but I think for Malaysia, it's just a matter of again Fafao scaling up at this point with the Bruno. And speaking of the gold earn, speaking of Fafao, she is gonna be the top earner or the rich girl at this point of the game, stacking up to 4K gold, followed by Bao Bei there in the lane. Considering that this is a Bruno, right? Like up against a Beatrix that has just more utility under her belt that can, kind of outplay the Bruno in the early game. But looking at how things are playing, again, this is the same case for Malaysia. They're just putting all of their resources just for Fafao to scale up. And as you can see, four members already down. But I'm not so sure if Bao Bei knows that well. As they create a lot more pressure. There's vision here coming out from the Yisun Shindo, but what is going to be their next move, right? Who are they going to
Uh-oh.
take down? Might actually be Rina here. Okay, they're not going to continue with the setup. Maybe pressure out the red.
Ooh. Stolen.
Yep. Yep, stolen by Tagami. Just like that.
Oh no.
For the red buff, though, all of those ultimates.
Uh, yeah, that's true. Robbery though still, but they had to exert a few ultimates left and right. At least for
Mhm.
Rina, she's still able to get her own purple buff. So yeah, lest the red buff gets taken. Let's take a look at the item build. 2 items for the Bruno. The Bruno is scaling up quickly with that
Mhm.
Warrior's Boots plus the Malefic Gun and the Has Claws. He is already able to join the team fight. Sustainability is there, rage is there with the Malefic Gun, so that's going to be an option. But now they will pounce on to the turtle. That's going to be Cambodia contesting this neutral objective. Where
Mhm.
is the initiation coming from
Oh,
Na'Vi?
there's
There's
the
going to be
setup.
the setup coming in. Elan gets Shah so low, and Malaysia gets the leader, but now it's going to be Rina getting the turtle. In the back is going to be Yuki, gunned down by Elan. Elan will move back with the Starlium Beam, but no, what? Foul foul!
Yep.
Gets the kill on towards Zui in the mid lane. Moshi taken so low as well. They have to be careful. This Bruno is kicking balls so hard, and that's gonna be the turret taken down. But Rina will assassinate Tagami up top. So much action happening left and right. And Malaysia will be the victors of that clash as they will wrap up that fight as well with a turret up top.
Yep. Wow, this is not the Afafao that has. Oh, there's a feather there, strike from Hani. As Moshi spots her out, as Moshi gonna be soaking up all of the damage here again. Asha forced to tank up the damage, but gets in the tsunami wave there from the Kalea. Glorious pathway just to escape all of that, forcing everybody to back away. And as you can see, there's just high again. So much resources, so much damage output coming out from Cambodia. But for Malaysia, most of the time, as you can see, like since there's no Purify for the Fulvius here, Sha usually gets taken down first and then followed by Yuki, who can pretty much sustain and still has her revitalized, but still the same story. They're just letting Fafao take her time down bot. And it's not as fast as a Moscow when you join into team fights with the AOG, right? Like it's still a Bruno, it's still a Bruno, but again, they're still letting Fafao do her thing down bot. Like this is the exact same thing which gave her so much gold in game number 1 and was able to wreak havoc up against Cambodia there. But now Fafao in trouble here with Glorious Pathway. Yuki gonna be soaking up the damage but gets caught in there. Buying some time here for Fafao down bottom. Not so sure if they're gonna be able to take that down as the camera switches onto the side there up top. Yuki taken down as well as Fafao with the shutdown. And that's gonna be the sustain that they needed. The shutdown that they needed from the side of Cambodia just right before the Lord take. A bit too much pressure down bot though. They almost took down that second tier, but this is gonna enable Cambodia to have a much better positioning in this first Lord.
Rina, eyes this Lord. That's gonna be you with the
Oh,
Tsunami
there's a
Slam.
setup.
Rina can still escape with the Torrent Rose and the Puncture on towards the back and the front. It's gonna be Glorious Pathway. Popped and Rina with the
Oh, Malaysia!
Retribution! Use Thief in the night as Rina runs away from that Lord. That is absolute plunder from the Lancelot
Mhm,
single-handedly just bobbing and weaving, making her way out of the team
mhm.
fight and getting the Lord for herself. The retribution from Arena has been on point so far in this series. And now Malaysia, they're able to suture the wound slowly that has been
Mhm.
cracked open by Cambodia with that Lord take. Now they have Prio on bottom, the Lord marching in, and they have control over this red buff. This is going to be very, very dangerous now for Cambodia. They will have to hold this one out as Malaysia might get even more objectives with this Lord marching in. Well, let's see. The Divine Glaive purchased by Elan. Extra damage given. Tsunami Slam pop.
UA
Into the back. Purify popped as
purified.
well. Yue so low. And the Feather Airstrike will put her down. It's going to be Rina getting the kill. And the Lord onto the back line. AOG onto two.
Oh,
Glorious
AOG!
Pathway will be a defensive option for her. But no, Elan still gets taken down. The
Two
Bruce
members down.
Fashion pop still so chaotic down bottom. They might just look for the end here because they have a wave pushing up top and mid. But no, it seems like Cambodia can still clear the waves. They
Respect.
might go for seconds here with the wave marching
Mhm.
into the mid base.
Yep, that's already the Purify out there for Fafao. So again, the setup play from UA. There's gonna be the ultimate from the Beatrix. Shah as well soaked up all of the damage as he gets the ultimate from the Kalea. Slicing and dicing through. There's the shutdown onto Bao Bei. A double kill
No!
for Fafao. A triple
Fafao!
going for the Maniac
What?
there. And now one more for the Savage, but it's not gonna matter. Fafao locking in the base. There's enough minions as Malaysia gonna be taking in this series with a 2-0.
Wow! Malaysia quickly wraps up that game with a 2-0. And so quickly they shut down the base. They shut down Cambodia. It seems like Cambodia was looking to get the turnaround in that last skirmish. But Rina with the Lord Salvage, means that they have prior on bottom to push up the turret, push out again, create that hole in the base, and yeah, everything just came full circle for them. I mean, Fao Fao was a sleeping giant. She wasn't really in the fights, but she farmed up a bunch. She farmed up a storm, and she was able to get those items going. And she was so painful to deal with. I mean, that last kick of the ball towards Elan hurt so much, and she was able to pick up the Maniac. Let's take a look at the highlights here. Earlier on, Malaysia was still able to exert the pressure so quickly, so calmly as well. Um, they were able to get all the objectives, bar this turtle, I think. But still, what matters most is that Lord Steal from Rina. Again, Cambodia were able to layer their ultimates quickly and convincingly. But the problem is that Malaysia has the Gatot Kacha to become a contingency plan. Once the Tsunami Slime was popped, Cambodia did not have any more setup to move forward. Then the Gatot Kacha came flying in. You could take a look at how the Gatot Kacha never really pulled the trigger quickly. She wasn't really the main engager. She focused on counter engage. Look at this. The AOG prepped up and ready. No Tsunami Slam, no setup, and boom. Moshi, Yuki gets taken down quickly. Elan is well deleted. And everything else is just history for Malaysia. The 2-0 with a convincing fashion. The first game was a comeback. The second game was domination.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they didn't want to put all their eggs in one basket for the side of Cambodia, and they kind of distributed it to all the lanes actually, which is what I was saying earlier, right? Like it's
Boom.
very difficult to clap back up against this lineup. The Maniac from Fafao at this point, right? Like they funneled all of their energy towards that and was able to get the W. I would have to say though, this is a bit like there's the damage. Definitely, there's damage there for the side of Cambodia, but I think the imbalance onto the lanes, right? There's just too much things that are scaling all at the same time. Where do you kind of want to put your focus on, right? Like once Yue and Moshi were out, it just leaves the rest of the team so vulnerable. Plus, there's also Purifies here from the side of Malaysia, which kind of cancels out the ultimates or the setups coming out from Yue. It was a very good attempt, though. I feel like if they were able to kind of pull this off very early on, it might have gone a different way. But then again, it's just a mix and match of different things here for the side of Cambodia, as Malaysia again working towards what they know best. Again, let their gold laner scale up, let the rest of the team take care of things in the early game. And as you can see, the damage to the tower, the objectives, the turtle, and the Lord goes all to the side of Malaysia. The steal also from Rina earlier on to seal the deal there. Fafao being the main ATM, the carry, as well as the one that dish out the most damage here for the entire team of Malaysia. Props to them, which is actually also the reason why I put it out that they got in the two slots for the upcoming World Championships. It's just that the region is continuously growing, and I think even their MLBB women's scene is all the same as well.
Well, it's pretty insane to see what happened. Malaysia They let go of the Yisun Shin, but again, Cambodia, greed kills you. Three hyper carries that weren't able to get to their
Yep.
power spikes. The Kimi was there to deal the damage. The Yisun Shin was able to burst, chip damage into the players of Malaysia, but still, Malaysia rationing all their resources very, very quickly. The Bruno was, again, like I said, a sleeping giant, all focused on farming, and was able to get her power spikes again. So painful to deal with. The crit damage
Yep.
came through with so much excellence. So yeah, that was a well-deserved win for Malaysia. Malaysia
Yep.
was a
Yep.
very, very good team in that
Mhm.
regard. But hey, we'll take a break because after this we'll still have a few matches up in our cards. So stay tuned right here in the World Esports ISF Asia Oceania qualifiers for MLBB Women's 2025.